Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From wherever you are in the world, welcome. This is a University of Liverpool Online webinar. My name is Stephen Merrifield, and I'll be your moderator for today. Now, many of us do a very typical educational journey. We do 12 years of secondary school, then we go off to university and get our bachelor's degree, and then we may go on to a master's degree, and then we go on to the workforce. However, for more and more people, that's no longer the case. Today, we're going to take a look at lifelong learning and what it's like to go back to school a little bit later in life and change careers, and how that's really becoming much more of the norm, and how the University of Liverpool Online is set up to assist. So, welcome. What are we going to take a look at today? We're going to talk about a career change. We're going to talk about returning to school. We're going to talk about the experience of Rupali, who returned to the University of Liverpool Online. We're going to talk about next steps, and we'll have an open question and answer session. Now, those of you in the audience can see there's a question and answer text box. If you have questions, please enter them into the text box. We'll either answer them directly to you or bring them to the floor live for Rupali and I. Now, please, once again, my name is Stephen Merrifield. I'm your moderator today. I'm very happy to introduce Rupali Agarwal. Rupali is a 2017 graduate of the University of Liverpool Online with a master's in public health. She has a pretty incredible career and academic history, and a really, really, really neat story to tell us. So, Rupali, welcome. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Stephen, and a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants. So, thanks to Stephen to introduce me. So, I am Rupali. I am 39-year-old from India, and before taking admission in University of Liverpool, so my first degree was in social work that I did in 2001, and that was in social work. And after that, I did job for 2 years as a Women and Child Development Program in charge with a grassroots level organization. So that was my first job that gave me exposure to the real life challenges of the development sector. And after that, because of marriage and family responsibility, there comes a small break in my career of around 6 years. And thereafter, I restarted my professional journey. I joined a grand project of Plan India, that was AstraZeneca Young Health Program, and I was manager in that program. And that was again with the grassroots level organization, and that program was basically towards the health of adolescents and youth. And this project was in urban setting. So the first job was in rural setting, and the second job was in urban setting. And both the job was more or less related to health, basically health challenges. And after that job, I joined corporate social responsibility of one of the big infrastructure company of India, which was the GMR Foundation. There I worked as a program officer, and that job, there I worked for around 3 years. So during that job, that was a kind of change in my career. And throughout my journey, I got exposure to different challenges, and health was the key area where I worked. And I saw the health related challenges in rural areas as well as in urban sector. And in these many years, I realized that to implement my ideas, my learnings, I need to be in a more strong position, in a more decision making position. And my career gap was a biggest challenge, which was stopping me, creating a hindrance to go for a senior level position. So the best option was to enhance my academic credentials. So I thought how I can improve myself, because I have some personal limitations as well. Because of that, I can't go for a regular kind of courses. So I have to manage my professional life to pursue my job, and simultaneously I have to somehow manage my studies. So I found Liverpool University was the best option. So I searched many university, many options, whatever can be best fitted to fulfill my all my desires and need. So I found University of Liverpool as a very best option which can provide me flexibility to pursue my education. At the same time, I can continue my job also and take care of my family and my son. So I have my 12-year-old son with me. So so I got enrolled in 2013, and so along with my studies, I continued doing my job. So and throughout, after my 3 years journey, so after that, I could join my next job as a CSR head. So I completed my studies in 2017, and in February 2017, I uh, joined this job as a head CSR. So these are is a small short journey of my professional and academic career, which I started in 2001 and 2017. So I could see a lot of change and growth in my career. So just starting career from the grassroots level organization, now I am heading the CSR of a national level big footwear company. So yeah.
You know, Rupali, it's you and I spoke before, and I mean, you're not talking about a short journey. You may be giving us a short story on a very big journey. But you know, your journey really it I'm awestruck by it, and we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to talk a lot more about it. But you know, one of the things I'm going to comment is I'm not sure that you took a 6-year break in your career. I think maybe you might have had a second career, which was motherhood. Yeah, I wonder sometimes. I can hear half of the audience going, "I'm a parent. That's a full-time job. That's a full-time job." You know. And so I think, yeah, you probably could qualify you as being on your third career. First your grassroots, second motherhood, and now in your more senior role. So let's take this a little bit, kind of bit by bit. What motivated you to change or up your career, up your game, so to speak? I mean, what made you make this decision?
Yeah, as I said, because I have seen the challenges, development sector challenges throughout my career, and realized that many a times when you want to implement your ideas, so you need to have uh, that position. So that position comes like when you are heading you are at a senior level, or you are having a strong academic background. Then the people heard your voice get heard. So I realized that to be on a senior position, I have to somehow uh, have to be at the senior level position. And throughout this, I realized that I should pursue my education. And so that whatever I have experienced, I have gained throughout my journey, I can implement those ideas in a much better way and can address the development challenges of my country.
I think one of the things that we were talking about just before we came up on air was how in my opinion, and I know the jobs you're doing that you did when you were working in the NGO is very different than what you're doing now, but on some level, it's really, and I'm calling it like an upping your game, so to speak, in that your NGO work was grassroots, and it was on the street, and it was helping individuals and families one-to-one. And now as we talked about, you're motivating a corporation to act socially responsible and to help address the needs of the people in your homeland. And so it's interesting to me to see you addressing the same issues, just from a much bigger place now, and I don't know. It's part of what really, really, really impresses me about your journey and your work, is that you haven't stopped caring for the people. You've just found a bigger place to use your voice, and you should be very proud of that. So anyway, so what was it like going back to school? I mean, you graduated in 2011. You had worked. You became a mom, which suddenly, to anybody who's a parent, your own sort of selfish or personal focus is forced away because you have this little person who knows, needs your time and demands your time. So what was it like going back to school? Rupali? We appear to have lost Rupali. So I'm going to give you some of the answers that she had, and Michael's going to help see if we can get Rupali back. Rupali was talking about how it wasn't easy to go back. She'd been gone for a decade and had a job and a child. And now she talks about how proud she is that she's done this work and been able to do it. You could see her statement here: today, after completing my studies, it amazes me that I managed everything. This gives me a proud feeling. Now, you're taking a look at me, and I'm sitting here with my gray hair and my 50-plus age group, and I'm considering going back to school, and it's unnerving to me. I spent quite a bit of time in student support for the University of Liverpool Online, and now I'm with the digital events team, and that takes different skills, and it takes skills that, as somebody in my age group, I didn't grow up with, and I don't have. And so I think what we have is, it's unnerving going back to school. It's unnerving to get started. I think a lot of times when you're 30 plus or 40 plus, you're afraid that you've lost some of the skills that it takes, and that, as you said, you don't have your game. Rupali sits here as proof that that's not the case. She's really done a great job. So now, did she find, and I'm sorry, we're still trying to get Rupali back on the line here. We have Rupali coming in remote from India, and for those of you who study with us, we'll always use this as an example of why you shouldn't wait for the last minute, because you never know what's going to happen with the internet. But we asked Rupali if she found the University of Liverpool online programs helpful and supportive. Well, first of all, she now has a master's in public health from the university that founded public health. And so, Rupali, I'm almost hearing some background noise. Do we have you back on the line?
Yes, I'm back. Extremely sorry, there was some network issue.
That's okay. We were just talking about what happens in the event that there's a network issue. So yeah, are you able to come back with us now?
Yes.
That's great. Rupali, we were discussing kind of the challenges and the fears of returning back to school, and luckily, I'm in the same boat, considering returning to school and a lifelong learner. And so I was talking a little bit about how it unnerves me, the thought of coming back to school and being a little bit afraid of having lost your game. At the same time, looking at you as an example of success, and that it can be done. So now I'm going to come on and ask you, did you find the university helpful and supportive?
Yes, very supportive. So because being an online student is not at all easy. So because I'm alone in my country, I don't have physical classroom, students, teacher with me. So online studies or through University of Liverpool, they offered me great support. So the whole classroom is designed in such a manner that you can get all kind of support with a single click. So you can either have an online chat, so a student support manager are all time available, so all your queries are addressed immediately. So you don't have to be panic at all for any kind of situation. If you have any IT related issue, so you can get a help immediately. So there were several moments when I got stuck somewhere academically, technically, and I need support. So it was not at all easy, but I get support every time, and it was very, very helpful, and because of that only I could complete my studies successfully. So I really want to thank the complete team of University of Liverpool, who was so empathetic, so supportive, and they understand the cultural challenges, cultural issues as well. So that was really commendable.
You know, it's interesting for, I think I had said earlier, I used to work in student support, and it's fascinating for us on the flip side in that we learn so much. You talk about cultural differences and cultural sensitivity, but that comes to us from the fact that the students are coming from all over the world and from all cultures. And so we're learning from you how to address your needs better, so to speak. And I'm glad to hear your experience. Now, did you find it easy to get the right kind of help, so to speak? Like, did you know when it was time to turn to faculty versus when it was time to turn to student support? And was that easy to get to access any or all of them, so to speak?
Yes. Faculty were very supportive, very approachable. So I can send them, can contact them through emails. I can contact them telephonically or through online chatting. So there were different modes. So it depends on the kind of problem or issue I am facing. Accordingly, I can contact anyone. So there were a lot of options available, not just one that I am in contact with faculty only, but I have multiple contacts. So there were multiple helps available, so I can access it anytime.
I think it's one of the things that, and I'll ask you this. And I know this isn't one of the questions that we talked about, Rupali, but you know, when you first started, I think a lot of times we hear from students about fear that because they're studying online, they're studying alone. And part of what I'm hearing from you is that, you know, you had resources to reach out to. I mean, I haven't taken a module with the University of Liverpool Online, but I do know that there's a lot of interaction student to student as well. So this isn't, I mean, would you call, this isn't a lonely experience, is it?
No, not at all lonely. So I have my peers with me. So I have made friends through online studies. So I have still continuing my relationship with them. We have been chatting over different social issues, different developmental issues, health issues. So it's been great. So you feel as a part of a greater community. So though you are not in a physical classroom, but despite this fact, you are in a virtual classroom where you have your peers across globe, and you interact with them. You get opportunity to know about their cultural setups, what kind of perspective they have towards public health. So it enriches your whole academic journey. So I nowhere feel myself alone.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Now, what is it you're doing now? Tell us how you've put that Master's of Public Health to work, please.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate to now get this opportunity to implement my learnings to work. So now being a head of CSR, I can strategize my CSR activities in a more meaningful manner. So I have now I have role in policy decision making. So I joined in February, and since then I am trying to strategize my CSR. So I have budget of around 6 crores with me. So now, considering the health challenges of my country, so I have the power to implement those ideas actually on ground. So at present, so right now we have presence in around 13 states in India, and we have 3 plant locations where we are manufacturing footwears. So So I am working in rural setup and as well as in urban setup. So right now my focus is to spend each and every penny of my CSR impactfully towards health and towards education. So these are two important verticals where I am working. And under health, we are working on different strategy. So in India, health is a very, very big challenge. Out of pocket expenditure is huge. So we are living in different centuries within India. So at one point we are talking about medical tourism, where the patient from other countries are coming to India for getting the good kind of medical facility, and on the other side we are still struggling with maternal and child health. We are the new kind of problems like NCD, non-communicable diseases are coming up. So we are having different kind of challenges. So the role of public health professional becomes very, very crucial at present. So like I am the public health professional as well as a CSR professional, so I have dual responsibilities. So to do justice with my degree and with my position, I have to balance both. So, so I want to fight with the health challenges of my country, whatever capacity I have in my position. So I want to do that. So right now I am discussion with one big organization, and we are working towards addressing the non-communicable diseases in India. So we are working towards creating awareness so that we can somehow can reduce the prevalence of NCDs in India. So I think this degree offered me knowledge, uh, provided me confidence to implement my ideas strategically.
It's funny when we talk about lifelong learning, and you just use the word confidence. And do you feel more confident now than you did in when did you say you started? 2013?
Yes.
No, when did you start with University of Liverpool?
2013.
Yeah. Do you find yourself more confident now?
Yes, yes. Lot of confidence I gained through these studies, because when you have a strong academic background, that itself gives you a lot of strength. But the journey of 3 years, that really evolved me as a more confident professional. So I could enhance my writing skills, my the way I conceive things, the way I write things. So I gained a lot of skills through my this 3 years Liverpool journey.
And I guess the question that, and when we had our little bump in the webinar, and Rupali, you were with us, I was talking about feeling a little bit afraid about returning to school, and I wonder if were you there? I mean, before you decided to come back, what were the challenges, or what were the fears that were in your head about, for lack of a better way of putting this, mastering another master's program? And I want to be gentle and respectful here, but at the same time, here I am. We're not 22 anymore. We're not 25 years old. And so we're not on this kind of education flow, or, for lack of a better word, conveyor belt from high school to university to a higher education to whatever. And so, to me, it's a little bit scary to think about going back to school. And I wonder if that was the same for you.
Yeah, so it was the same for me as well, because it's not at all easy to restart your academic journey after a break of around 10-12 years.
Yeah.
So that wasn't easy, because my son is studying and simultaneously I am also studying. So before taking this decision, so this was not at all easy, but I was determined to pursue my education. I think that determination is the driving force which really pushes you towards facing all these challenges. So I think I was very much determined that I have to anyhow uh, gain this kind of knowledge and degree. So, but the challenges were great because after a gap of 12 years, I restarted studying. So just again going through writing, reading to it's not at all easy. So it was not easy.
Rupali, let me ask you a question. Were the challenges as real as they were in your head? Do you know what I mean? I mean, before you
Yes,
start
yes,
school, you can imagine how big and scary it is.
right.
Or you can imagine that you're just going to step in there and you're going to do a couple of modules and come out with, with
Yes.
an A-level PhD. But were the challenges as real once you got to school as they were as you perceived them to be? And they may well have been. I mean, that's, it really depends on how spot on the challenges in your head were, so to speak. But
Yes,
did
yes,
you find
yes.
the challenges as real once you got to school?
Yeah. So initially it was challenging, but gradually when I moved ahead in different modules, so gradually it went down.
Yeah.
So and then eventually I started enjoying it. So when you pass your modules and you get the result at the end of the module, and then you really cherish your hard work.
Yeah.
So then you get more motivated to do better. So what I really enjoyed, the kind of feedback I get after each module. So it was really appreciable that I can see that where I lagged. So because of which I could not get that marks. So how I can improve further. So that feedback that really pushes and encourage to do better. And I really enjoyed. I nowhere in this 3-year journey realized to just give it up. So though it was challenging, but really enjoyed. And the whole credit goes to the kind of module, the way the whole program has been designed. So this really reduces the challenges and the problems the student may face in this online kind of courses.
I think one of the things that Liverpool Online has been very good at is understanding the lifelong learner. And you know, we understand working professionals, we understand parents, and try to create an atmosphere that allows for that. And part of that atmosphere is to respect everybody at where they are, whether they're 22 having just graduated with a bachelor's degree, or whether they're 55 with another master's degree and a lot of experience, that everybody comes to the table as an individual, or everybody comes to the module, the classroom, as an individual with different things to both learn and different things to contribute. And so, I think Rupali, what you present to all of us is just an incredible example of how, you don't have, first of all, you don't have to be stuck with the decisions you made when you were in your 20s about where your career is going to go. That down the line you can choose to do something different or do something bigger and return. I do have a question to come back to you and your family. What was your son's response when you told him that you were going to go back to school? I mean, how old was he when you came back?
So that time he was around 8 years old. So he was in class fourth. So I have to take care of him. So he really see that how his mama is doing studies. So I think it may have given him a lot of inspiration. So later in his life he may realize that his mother has really worked hard, because I have, after coming from the office, so during night I have to do my studies. I submit my assignment late night. So in 3 years I didn't had sound sleep. So I have sleepless nights. So submit my just fulfill my assignments and just meet the deadlines. So he has seen my whole journey, and I took him during my convocation also So I think it may be a proud moment for him to see his mother receiving a degree at University of Liverpool. So I think it may give him a lot of aspirations for his academic life.
Yeah, I don't think he was a proud son. I'm fairly sure he was a proud son. Um, I mean, were you at George's Hall on at graduation? Were you at the award ceremony?
Yes, yes, I was
Yeah,
there
I
at.
mean, yeah, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be, a preteen with your mom, being celebrated in that beautiful, beautiful building, and also, Philharmonic Hall. I mean, that's just, to watch you go across the stage. Yeah, he wasn't probably proud. He was really, really, really proud. Hey, Rupali, we're at the point now where we're going to take some questions from the audience here. So, first of all, I want to thank you for telling your story. Inspirational is a weak word here. First question I'm going to take says it all. I'm impressed that Rupali, with responsibilities, was able to accomplish so much. But here comes the question. Um, what suggestions do you have for students who might not have family support for their education? What do you do on the days that you don't think you can get what did you do on the days that you didn't think you could get it done? And who did you lean on in your immediate circle for support, or did you ever get to that point?
Yes, yes. There were points when you really feel yourself depressed. So because you have to manage a lot of pressures. So sometimes it really becomes difficult, and when you don't have family support. So sometimes it may be a kind of stressful situation, but then you can reach out to your peers. So you can just message them, share your share your problems with them, and they can just be a they can lighten up you up. And your friends, they are the biggest strength. And I think you should believe in spirituality also. Sometimes you have to believe the God also. So that gives you a lot of strength. Because I think what I realized, that in the whole journey, you have to re-evolve yourself. this
Sure.
this academic journey offers you a lot of opportunity to assess your internal strength. So we don't realize that what we can do unless we encounter such situations. So it's really this, you never give up, and just try to find out the ways.
I also think part of what we all have to understand is, I mean, I look at you, Rupali, and such development has occurred over the last decade in you, in your education, in your spirit, in your soul, to speak. And that shouldn't come free, because then it has no value. It would have no value where you are right now would have no value if somebody just handed you a master's in public health and this job. And so you can't benefit from the pride and the value without paying a little bit of the price. And when you're paying the price is when you have to remind yourself that it doesn't come free. And so when you're feeling like you can't do it, remind yourself that you are doing it, and then go get yourself some support. Whether that might just be taking your boy out for an ice cream, getting away from that computer in the studies and going and doing something a little bit different. It might be getting online with a fellow student who also is feeling like they can't do it, and just get miserable together for half an hour. I hate my studies, I hate this, I hate whatever. Yeah, okay, but now we're going to go back to doing our homework because we have to complete this journey. And so I think part of it is you have to expect that there's going to be highs and lows, because this is something of value that you're earning. And so it doesn't, I mean, that no pain, no gain is such a cliche, but it's true. And that if you don't struggle, then you don't have anything of value in your hands at the end of it. And what I'm looking at is somebody who has gained so much value, but is also bringing so much value back. Now, we have another question here, Rupali, and it's a little bit more directed to you and your work, which is somebody from India is asking for a better definition of corporate social responsibility, and how is this, what kind of impact is this having in India?
Like in India, the CSR Act came as a mandatory since 2013, when the government brought one amendment in Companies Act. So, but the CSR is not just about compliance. It's about the social responsibility of company towards society. So it's all about that the company should realize its responsibility in terms of what kind of negative impacts it's creating towards society and how it can mitigate those negative impacts. So it's not just about getting profit out of just business. So out of profit, you have some responsibility towards society as well. So, but it's not just about philanthropy, just signing a check. It should be strategic as well. So you should align your CSR with the business.
And I think that's part of what you and I were talking about before, was that in the earlier days, corporations were seeing fit to just write a check and send it off to some NGO or some nonprofit or somebody who was doing good work. And part of what you're doing, or the evolution now, seems to be focusing this much more, having them be more thoughtful about where their help is going. You know, it's not just a matter of ticking we took care of this box. It's about what are you taking care of, and are you aware of it, and are you conscious of it and motivated, and is it part of your mission?
Right. It's all about responsible business. So as a business group, you should be responsible towards society, towards environment, and it should be an ethical business.
It's a give and take. I mean, part of what you talked about, you know, businesses don't generate products without using up resources.
Right.
And whether that's people resources, or whether that's trees, or whether that's dirt, or whether that's air that they pollute, they're taking as they profit, and then it's time to return it back to it's part of returning it back to the community. And I have to say, you know, having worked with corporations for a long time, I'm really glad there are public health people in there to give them some direction, because people may want to do well but not know how. And it doesn't, you know, you can be the greatest businessman in the world. That doesn't mean you understand social problems. And it doesn't mean you know where to address them. And it takes people like nonprofit people and public health people to get in there saying, this is where the resources, this is where the help needs to happen. Okay, one more question here. Looking at impact, do you find that you gained more experience or more knowledge working in the NGO or out of your subjects, out of your academic classes?
Yes, I think after having ground level experience, I started my academic journey. I think that gave me a lot of weightage in completing my academic journey, because when you really have worked on ground and you have seen the challenges, then you can relate it very well during your academics. So it gives you a lot of knowledge and strength to put your ideas in right words. So because when I did my first master's as a student, so that time my understanding was very low. But when I started my master's of public health, so before that I was having a sound experience. So that experience really helped me to gain maximum out of my degree. So I think that is very crucial.
One more question, and then I think we're going to bid our audience farewell. Would you go back to school again?
I would love to go back. So I believe in lifelong learning. So So whenever I move ahead in my professional journey and I encounter some problems, so I want to know more. I want to get more knowledge. So when you move ahead, you have to face challenges, and to meet the challenges, you have to keep on learning, and that's the way to evolve yourself, to move ahead, to be a better person, better professional. So I think a professional should always and always be open to learning. So that's the
Very good.
way to be a better person. Yeah.
And I also think it's for us personally, it's stimulating and it keeps us current too. I mean, not only do we benefit from what we learn because we can then take it out back in the world, but as living, breathing beings, we're stimulated. You know, like you said, I want to know more. You know, I mean, and if you could see your face kind of light up as you said that, you know, there's it's nice to figure stuff out, and it doesn't matter whether you're 15 or 35 or 55. When you figure it out and you master something new, it's still cool. And when you can take it and apply it, that's even cooler. So, you know, well done. Okay. Rupali, I want to thank you very, very much. I want to thank our audience for spending almost an hour with us here. Rupali, your story is incredible, and I want to thank you for sharing it with us. Do you have anything final that you'd like to share with our audience before we say goodbye?
Yes, I would like to say all the audience that believe in yourself and always strive to be a better professionally. And the aim of the life is to do good for the society, for the humankind. And the academics should be for that purpose, not just to be on a higher position, to gain more money, but the objective should be how we can serve humanity in a better way. And this academic degree provides you a position where you can really contribute meaningfully towards making difference in the society. So all the best to everyone.
In recap, don't be smarter, be better. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a University of Liverpool online webinar. Thank you very much. Rupali, thank you. It's been an incredible chat with you. Thank you very much for sharing your story and your inspiration. To our audience, thank you very much. Have yourself a good day.
Thank you.